back to my question. So I think what's not changing right now, especially from working for Vaughn's Grocery, I mean, customer service is always going to be the key, and there's still a huge demand for housing. So I think what some of the discount brokerages, I'm not going violating anything, but I think that's where they lack is the customer service. And I think that's the most important thing right now. Because when I'm doing projects, like right now I'm building a pool, and I get so frustrated when that guy doesn't call me and tell me he's not coming and certain things, and I think my wife says, well, how about you? Do you call your clients every week and tell them, hey, sorry, your house isn't selling, things are a little slow, you know, keep in contact with them, let them know what's going on. And I'm failing at that, and I gotta do better at that. But I think that customer service part is one of the most important things now, and that's starting to lack with the discount brokerages. No. Done, okay. Two, technology, okay, technology. Here's what I learned when I did get into real estate. Like Leslie was talking about the foreclosures when they were just dropping like crazy, and that's when I got in. I talked to some of the agents at Keller. I said, how do you guys break into foreclosures? How do you get to work with the banks? How do you get part of this? And everybody told me the same thing. You're too late. If you weren't already in it, you're never going to get into it now. And when somebody tells me that, that's what I love, because that just sets my hair on fire, and I said, I'm going to prove them wrong. So I jumped on planes and I flew to wherever banks were, met with banks, me and a business partner, and we ended up getting, I think, almost every single REO account there was, other than maybe two. And I was able to succeed that year, like Maggie, you were saying the same thing. I think that year, I told my wife, she says, you know, how are you doing? How are you surviving with the REO business? And I said, I'm making $100,000 a month. I haven't made less than $100,000 a month, and I'm the most unhappy guy you could ever see in your life. I mean, I grabbed my cell phone, I threw it in the street. My wife's like, what are you doing? And I said, I'm sick of this, I can't take it. I'd have to knock on doors to give the cashier keys, and I'd be vomiting first before I knocked on the doors. And then the first door I knock on, they're like, yep, we're waiting for you. We want the $7,500 for the cashier keys. And I'm looking at my bank account, I got $10,000 in there. I'm thinking, how can I keep writing these checks for that $7,500 and wait for a return 90 days later? So the key to that thing is, money does not make you happy. When you think, man, I'm making $1 million that year, I was probably the most miserable I've been in my life. So don't think, get into real estate to make money, because money will make you happy. It doesn't work like that. Technology now. So that was my story on trying to get into the banks, and I could force myself to do it. Now the REO stopped, and here I am just selling regular real estate, me and my partner, and he's like, how are we gonna survive? We don't know how to sell regular real estate. We're REO agents. We know how to look at a computer, see 20 listings come on, go knock on the door, do cash for keys. So I thought, my partner was basically saying, we're gonna fail. We're gonna be out of business. And I said, no, we just gotta learn to be different. So the first thing I did is I paid Zillow $1,500 a month to get Zillow leads. And everybody doesn't talk about that. They say, no, don't ever admit you did it. Well, I did it. And I thought, yeah, it worked okay. Then I paid Realtor.com, then I paid Homes.com, and I realized with all these paying, I was able to survive. I was able to keep doing business. Didn't thrive, but doing okay. So I realized technology is the key. I realized that's going to be the key for everything for the newest millennial, watching Inman reports and all the things I read. And I said, it's technology. And I thought, I'm too old to learn technology. I mean, it's too difficult to figure all this new stuff out. So that's when I realized, how can I get to that point? And the way I did it is I realized there's software that does all this stuff for you. And the company I ended up going to was the XP, and they allowed you to have all that software for free. It's called Conversion, it's called, what's the other name? KV Core. That stuff, that software is amazing. It gives you so many leads, so much business. It promotes listings. It posts to Craigslist. It posts to, tons of websites. You can just go on if a demo, if you type in KV Core, it'll give you a demo of what it does. But it's very expensive. So I realized for me, that's the way to do it. Get smart in technology, let this technology run my business now, and still try and do the customer service. So that's basically how I converted from doing REO to doing, and I can't wait to drop Zillow and Realtor.com now and just use the software that EXP has that's available to people. And the other thing is just training. So now the next part is just learning to use the software that you do, and that'll be the big key. But one other factor that I learned in this business now is to hire the right people, and this just happened to me yesterday, because for the last 5 days, I've been sick again doing taxes, and with taxes being done, due on the 1st, and, extensions. Your extension was due October 15th. And I realized here I'm struggling to find records and all the data that I needed, and realizing, oh my gosh, I sold some rentals, and I gotta figure all this out. And my wife, thank gosh, you have a partner, my wife for 40 years, she says, when are you gonna hire an accountant to do this stuff for you? So I learned real quick to hire the right people. Like a lot of the successful people here now are all using assistants, and for years it was like, don't use assistants, you should know how to do this. But now I think we can't even survive without our assistants. Am I right?
Yeah.
So I think those are the key features of moving from, taking care of your customers. I'm talking fast because I know everybody's their legs are falling asleep. And I want you guys to stand up and get your legs back. But that's the key points for me, is trying to, make sure you have good customer service for your clients, and make sure you have the right technology now that's gonna take your business to the next level. I think that's it for me, so you guys can